Welcome to the podcast of CreateConnectConvert.co, a community of empowered businesswomen by empowered businesswomen. Let's dig in. So welcome back to the Create, Connect, Convert podcast, a podcast for empowered businesswomen by empowered businesswomen. I'm Laura Templeton, your host for today, and I am here with my co-hosts, Kristy Crippen and Regina Garay. Kristy, why don't you go ahead and tell our listeners a little bit about you and your work?
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our podcast. I'm Kristy Crippen. I'm the founder of Collaborative Partners, and I'm your intuitive thought partner and business process architect. I partner with mission-driven entrepreneurs and small business owners to help them pave the way for greater ease and flow in their business.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Regina, how about you? Go ahead.
My name is Regina Garay. The name of my business is Right Brain Loves Left. And I work mainly in the interior design and construction industry. I teach marketing. I also help businesses and brands manage their marketing. And that is my entire ethos, how to make marketing manageable for your small business.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And I'm Laura Templeton, founder and chief instigator at 30 Second Success. And I support faith-focused, legacy-driven business owners communicate with clarity, confidence, and compassion so they can attract the right opportunities without overcomplicating their messaging or their marketing. So I am so excited to be here today with you ladies. It is always wonderful to hang out together. And, we've always got some great conversations going on. So today we're diving, I know, right? We're diving into one of my favorite subjects today. I love this. And sometimes we kind of go off kilter, so you just never know what we're going to say, especially when there's Christyisms in the house. So there's that. But yeah, so today we're going to be talking about the human side of AI, right? And I think that's one of the things that a lot of people really get scared of, right? They don't want to lose their voice. I can't tell you how many people, especially marketers, who have said to me they were afraid to use AI because they were afraid to lose their voice. Then once we were able to help them, I know, right? Yeah. And once I was able to help them dive in and understand how to personalize it and make sure it understands who you are, who you serve, what you do, that it then starts to speak in your voice. I know, Regina, you're like me. You're like, let's embrace the tools, right? and I love embracing AI. And I know that's something, Kristy, you have a push-pull relationships with AI. So I love getting your perspective when we're talking about this today. So what's the biggest mistake you see business owners make when using AI for their messaging?
I'm going to jump in here because there was one, and I have a story. So I'm in a mastermind, and a fellow mastermind person said, I went to ChatGPT and it gave me a big old marketing plan. I asked it for the marketing plan and it gave it all to me, and it was fantastic. It was wonderful. And I asked her a couple of questions, and I realized that she got a marketing plan by putting in, just a regular prompt. But there were things that I knew intrinsically because that were missing, or that really didn't pertain to her business, or could have been made better, or some things that she didn't need at all. So it's so important to humanize, to bring yourself into that AI, because if you ask it with a prompt, give me a marketing plan, it's going to give you a marketing plan, yes, and it's going to make it sound really important and really confident, and here's your marketing plan. And you're looking at it and you're like, no, it needs a lot more work. So you need to bring that human-centric viewpoint and look at it and say, this is not speaking to my audience. This is really not something I'm comfortable with, and make it yours. And so you're bringing that into it. So AI is a tool that you can work with, but you need to bring a healthy dose of yourself to mold it and manage it and to give you the output that you need. I hope I answered the question. I just went out. I might have gone off on a tangent.
No, you did. But I just wanted to bring a really great point that you brought out there. I just want to highlight this is one of the things that you said, yeah, this is not quite what I was looking for. Don't be afraid to tell AI that, right? Yep. You have to remember it's a conversation. And a lot of people will take the content that they receive and try and work with it and try and edit it. as opposed to sitting there and going, no, this is not what I expected you to write for me. This is what I'm looking for. This is who I am. This is
Mhm.
who I'm trying to reach. By going in and sometimes I've actually argued with AI. It wasn't giving me what I wanted. And I made it give me what I wanted because I was very purposeful in saying, no, that's not what I wanted, or very purposeful in deep diving into asking it what I wanted to begin with, right? Being very specific. So Kristy, what are your thoughts around that? The whole structure, the things that, maybe what are some of the mistakes or issues that you've seen when it comes to business owners using AI in their messaging?
When I've talked to some, when I talk to business owners about how do they use AI for their messaging, and some, okay, there are many who are along the lines of what you and Regina are saying, where they are discerning and they comb through it, they take the time to actually examine it and really ask, is this representative of me and my business's values and my own energy? And then there are some who are like, done and dusted. And I'm like, well, what did you think when you reviewed it? Well, you know what? It was done and it was I just went on to the next thing and it was clear that they didn't go back and I'm thinking, oof, I if it was me, and I'm not passing judgment, I'm just saying if it was me, I would feel uncomfortable not reviewing it. Um, I think also when we think about the content that we see on social media or in newsletters or blog posts, all of us, we want to feel you and your energy in those words. And I've heard a lot of people say that when they're looking at content, they feel like things start to feel very samey, like very formulaic. And I'm thinking, I wonder if they are, once they get the content, are they actually personalizing it to them and their own messaging and their own branding? I and I know you ladies feel the same way. I want to feel you in those words.
Mm-hmm. I love it. And I think there's something to be said for what you're saying, the sameness in certain words. And I think that's one of the things, and here's a tip for our audience, make sure that you go in and check your data settings. Because one of the things that I have learned is I'm really good at writing content and I'm really good at using very specific words and my messaging and very specific in what I'm working on. But you have to make sure that that you don't have the settings set up in a way that it's using your content to train the AI. Because guess what's going to happen? Your content is now part of the AI brain. And if somebody asks a similar question you ask, it might get a very similar answer to what you've already fed into the AI brain. So make sure that you can actually change your settings so that your data is kept just for you. It's not used for training purposes in the AI platform.
Mm.
So that's something I advise a lot of my clients on, is just to make sure that your settings are protecting especially when it comes to private content, content that is very specific to you, especially, if you've got things that are copyrighted and things like that, make sure that you have your data settings set up properly.
That's
Regina, you were
actually
going to say something.
a really good tip, Laura, because if they go to the settings in and of itself, they can see the personalization tab and they can go
Hmm.
through all of that and just make sure that they
Hmm.
like go in there and mess with buttons and see what it
Yes.
does. Because you can even make the AI experience that much better by
Hmm.
just doing that. I was going to say
And update
something.
it
Oh,
frequently. You have to update that frequently too, because those
yes,
settings change and they evolve. And sometimes you want to make sure that it still sounds like you, especially because your business evolves too.
exactly. Yeah, because there's things that sometimes I go back and I'm like, oh, I'm not offering that anymore. Or oh, now I've got this. For instance, I released my course, Marketing Made Manageable. And when I went back to check it this quarter, last quarter it wasn't available. So this quarter I added it because I'm like, oh, now it's available, whereas it didn't say that. Kristy, I wanted to say something about the writing before we move on, because I know, Laura, you've got other topics you want to talk about around this theme. The when I work with AI, I actually write all my content first
Hmm.
and bring it to AI and then do slight polishing rather than having AI generate it for me. I know that's probably not what a lot of people do, and it's probably more time consuming on my end, but it helps me. And I know there's a lot of personalization, but it helps maintain my voice, I think, more so than starting from scratch with AI. Okay, continuing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And and that's this I mean, we could just talk about this one particular topic for the rest of the conversation, I think. But one of the things that I think too is when we are using content, that it's a great opportunity for us to repurpose content, right? I have some old blogs that I've written, and I just needed to refresh them for my new website. And I
Mhm.
took them into ChatGPT and I said, here's what I'm looking for. Here's my old blog. This is, let's talk about it from this perspective.
Love it.
Add a little bit more insight, give me a list. And it was extremely helpful. But again, I had to go back and read through it and go, oh, yeah, it's throwing something in here that doesn't belong. Let's take that out. Yeah, definitely to Kristy's point and to your point, Regina, you have to read the content that it's giving you to make sure that it really is in alignment. So how can you use ChatGPT to maintain consistency while keeping your human touch? So when I'm talking about consistency in your marketing, in your content, in your creation, without losing, but with and continuing to keep your human touch, the first and foremost.
I Number one is, making sure those settings reflect all about you well. But I also keep all my thoughts in specifically in ChatGPT by using the projects tab,
Mm,
rather than just the specific chats. So when I create a project, for instance, marketing for Right Brain Loves Left, then I put all my content underneath that. So it kind of stays in this one cohesive unit. I feel like it kind of works that way better for me in my brain and keeping it. That being said, ChatGPT remembers a lot. Um,
mhm.
but I find myself if it's not clear, like let's say, do you remember the parameters that I have for my Instagram copy? If not, here they are, and I repaste them just to make sure that it's following exactly what I'd like. That's
I
me.
love that. I love that you're using parameters, and that's one of the biggest things that I've done too. And I've learned to use the projects, but the parameters, it basically like feeding it a template. Like for my
Mhm.
newsletter, I have a template, and I'm like, here's the framework for my newsletter. This week I want to talk about this, or this week I want to talk about that. Give me a few ideas. It's been really helpful to make sure that you keep those templates, those parameters in a separate folder outside of ChatGPT, right? I think that's, make sure that you keep that
Yes.
in an organized folder so that you know where it is and you can grab it when you need it. Christy, how about you? What are your thoughts on maintain using ChatGPT to help you maintain consistency?
I think that, like with the work that you do, Laura, where you teach people how to really understand all of the nuts and bolts of ChatGPT and how to brand with heart and authenticity. And the more that you understand that program, the more it becomes part of you. And the more I really see how the more you use it, and then I'm pausing for station identification. Thank you for you have seven thoughts coming into your head all at once, and you're trying
I
to
have been there.
um, consistency is such a challenge for so many business owners. We've talked about this in other episodes where life just gets in the way, or there's an unexpected curveball, and it feels like it can derail you. And so, how wonderful is it to have this place, where I call it, say place, but this program that you can utilize that can be an ally within your business, that you say, okay, this can help ground me. This can help get me back on track again. And then that calms the mind, it calms the nervous system, and then you can just kind of relax into it and ease into the process. And then it creates all of those good feelings, and you think, you know what? This can be like a safe haven for me. that every time, I'm in there and I'm creating content and I'm going through the ideation process, it becomes like a friend in your business. And then that helps promote the consistency. I know that was kind of a roundabout way of answering that question.
No, I like it. It's the shifting of the mindset. Instead of
Yeah.
kind of going into ChatGPT going, oh my gosh, you're going into it like, I'm going to learn everything about this program. That will help with my consistency, and I'm going to have a positive mindset about it and use it in the way that I feel is right for my business.
Right. And
Mm.
and then the more that you get in flow with using it, and then you cement a habit,
Mhm.
you know. Excuse me, it was like a couple years ago when I had partnered with you, Regina, excuse me, to create a social media strategy for my business.
Mhm.
And then it's like it's taking that aerial view of, okay, what content am I putting out this week and what's the theme going to be? Or, maybe you have a monthly newsletter. Okay, what's the theme this month? And then it's like mapping all of that out. And I really see how chat can become such an ally in that
Mhm.
process and make the process so much easier for you and do that mental heavy lifting for you.
Yep.
And I think that's why a lot of my clients and a lot of the folks that I talk to actually are using ChatGPT as a sounding board, or and other AI as well, right? Just kind of like one of those. And I know there is value in having a place to just kind of brainstorm, like where you can take ideas to and dump and a lot of times I'll just be walking, out in the neighborhood, and I'll just grab my phone and say, okay, hold on to this for now. I'm not sure what I want to do with it. And I'll tell ChatGPT what I'm thinking, my story or whatever. I used to do it with Otter AI, but now I put it in chat and just say, here, this just use this as a placeholder for now. We'll get back to it later. And because I'm not sure what I want to do with it, it was just a thought that I needed to grab. So I think it's really great for ideation. Again, I think sometimes we need to make sure that we are still tapping into the connection of the people that we surround ourselves with to make sure that what we're creating with AI makes sense to the world around us. So we have to be really careful when we're spending a lot of time in that ideation process with ChatGPT, which is something that I encourage a lot of my clients to do. But I also encourage my clients to talk to their connections. Like I love bouncing ideas off of Kristy. Kristy is one of those idea people, right? She loves to dig in and uncover and what about this or what about that? And or have you thought about this? Or we know you tried it this way. How about if you try it this way? And I think that's the value of having somebody so close to you who, whether it's an accountability partner or collaborative partner or administrative person that knows your business, knows you, and maybe they can see the gaps that AI is not going to see because you're not seeing them, right?
Mhm.
You're not seeing the gaps. AI might not see it, but somebody who knows you know your business will. So I think it's really important to use the AI, but also make sure that you are still keeping up with the people around you and keeping in touch with the people around you as well. Don't allow it to replace the people in your that you trust. Chrissy, go ahead.
Could I quickly offer something, if that's all right? Thank you. I was
No,
thinking,
I'm going to say no.
I'm vetoing that. No.
It's just no, please don't offer it.
No, go,
Go
go, go,
for it,
go.
Christy.
Thank you. Laura, when you said just now about how when you're out walking and
Mhm.
you'll just, it used to be Otter AI, now it's chat. That's such a great point because so often when we're doing something that could be like just normal thing like out walking or this mundane thing like chopping carrots, and then our subconscious starts talking to us. And then what do we do with that idea that comes up in our subconscious? What do we do with that reminder that comes up? And you have created such an amazing process for yourself. And it's so simple. You're out walking, you're enjoying all the sights and sounds of your walk, you're doing something so great for your overall health and well being. And then your subconscious is like, so now that I have your attention, and then what the heck do you do with that while you're out walking? And then, so now that's another way in which chat has become this invaluable resource for you that, and you can capture it in the moment. And how brilliant is that?
But I also love that it keeps it in a thread so that you can come back to that thread and expand that idea further with ChatGPT. I mean, I love that. Love it. By the way,
Yeah.
there's
There's so
a
many different ways. Go ahead.
sorry, there's a book called Big Magic that talks about how ideas come to people and how ideas leave people
Mm.
because, you know, it's fascinating. So if anybody's out there, definitely read Big Magic.
Oh, I like
Uh,
that. I'm gonna have to. I
mm.
love that. I love that. That always is always interesting to me. Intriguing. That's another rabbit hole we could go down. So if you are enjoying this conversation, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss another engaging conversation. And if you'd like to support our work or just love branded merch, check out our store by visiting the createconnectconvert.co website today. So, ladies, I know we are like pushing time here already. So let's dive into the deeper a little bit more. What does it mean to create value aligned content with AI?
I mean, all of us as small businesses have value in what we offer, in what we do, how our businesses make us feel, how our clients feel when they interact with us, what kind of um, solutions we offer to those customers or those clients who have pain who come to us and not pain like just something that's bothering them that we have the solution to. These are all good values, and there's also other values such as you're environmentally friendly or you are always on the cusp of the modern edge. So those are different values also in branding, but how it becomes a value driven business is by making it really tailored to who your business is, what you offer, and who your audience is. Once you start building that as within this incredible tool called AI, your messaging starts becoming better. You find the audience that truly needs what you offer. It's just a beautiful value-driven ecosystem for your small business.
I love that. I love that. And I love too, one of the things that I love diving into with AI is what are my clients asking, right? I want to be able to offer value, but more importantly, I want to give them content that is meaningful and is going to serve them.
Mhm.
Especially when I'm creating a new workshop or, fleshing out ideas for a new book, I will constantly say, what are my ideal clients asking? What are
Yep.
the questions? What's keeping them up at night? Let's
Yes.
dive into that. And I think that's where that value aligned content can come into play when you're working with AI. Kristy, why don't you share your thoughts on this, about creating value aligned content, whether it's with AI or whether it's for your clients? Because I know this is one of the things that you're passionate about when you're working with your clients is creating content that really speaks to their values. So why don't you share a little bit about how important that is and how you see AI having a role in that?
Mm. I, to kind of put another car on the conversation train that the two of you have been chugging along the tracks here. It's when we feel in alignment with something, I don't care what it is, like if it's, say that we've made a decision to get healthier and, you're showing up in that way and you're drinking, water and you're eating food that is nourishing for your spirit and you're exercising and you're in alignment with that decision that you've made, that commitment you've made. And it's such a beautiful thing in life to feel aligned with something. And in this case, we're talking about the content that we create. And when people come to you and say, you know what, I was reading your blog post and it really touched me, or that I saw that post on LinkedIn the other day, or that reel that you put out on Instagram. Oh my word. I was just thinking the other day about how my dad's been grappling with this and um, you spoke exactly to what he's troubled by and this stuff is keeping me up at night and like you see their body, they can see it in their body language, how their shoulders drop forward, their head drops forward, they're exhausted. um so when we can speak to that, and then it further aligns us with our mission. Why did we start our company? Why did we choose to become an entrepreneur? And I look at it as this beautiful marriage of all of that. It like reinforces that, and it flows back into that. And and I think it further clarifies your message. It really deepens that, yes, I am on the right track here. And yes, I thoroughly do understand who I am, what the purpose of my business. And I think it's interesting because another point that's come up for me is we talk about your core values. What are those core values that are inherent to you as a person? It could be honesty, integrity, it could be joy, it could be peace. And if you know what your core values are, and I feel like in a kind of maybe a parallel way, our own core values could come into play there because then it's tapping into what are our core values. And when we're in this value, when we're offering value to the world and to our target audience, does it speak then also back to our core values?
I love that. And you're absolutely right. I think, that's one of the things I did a deep dive in with AI is, and this is something that I love doing, is asking AI to evaluate, right? To evaluate my content, to evaluate what I'm putting out there. Is it consistent, right? What am I sharing? What's missing? And I think that's one of the biggest things that it has really helped me to deepen the connection that I'm making with my audience, with my brand, with the people that are around me. And I think it's very valuable when you ask AI to evaluate what you're putting out there, right? And I think that's and is it in alignment with my core values? Is it in alignment with my mission statement? A couple times I've actually, created stuff, and I'll write it and I'll put it into the AI, and I'm like, does this make sense? Is it in alignment? Is it something that would speak to my audience? And it'll come back and say, well, it's not that. It's pretty brutally honest. Let's just say that. Yes, ChatGPT can be very honest sometimes, and it'll tell me no, but it will also give me suggestions on how to massage it, or maybe something that I need to add to it, or what's the purpose of it, whether it's just something I'm writing for fun, or whether it's something that I want to make sure is in alignment with my brand. Is it something that could be a spinoff? And I think
Yeah.
that's one of the biggest pieces when we ask, because we are by nature creative people, right?
Mm.
And not everything is going to be about our brand. It's not every, because we evolve and we create. And I think there's a big piece of it. So I know we only have a few more minutes left. How so speaking of that, how can I actually deepen connection in your brand? What are your thoughts around using AI to deepen the connection in your brand and really solidifying your brand?
For me, one of the biggest ways is and this goes back to the core of every small business, is your audience, who, because a lot of small businesses think, I know my audience, they're older and they like this. But there's so much more than you could know about your audience. Where are they hanging out? Where are they going online? Where are they shopping? What brands are they loyal to? What social platforms are they on? And even deeper than that. And so audience insights to me is a very deep way that you can use AI to enhance your brand, and allow it to help you get to know your audience better. I mean, I think that's, to me, that's the base, because the base of everything we do is our audience. Without that, we don't have clients, we don't have customers.
I love it. So using AI to really deepen your understanding of your audience, your clients, and speaking directly to them through what you're creating in AI.
Yes, but not even, inputting the data that you have from different social platforms. What are your analytics? Who is your demographics? Whatever social platforms you are, pull those insights and bring them into ChatGPT, and and massage them and work them that way. I, because it's good data in, good data out for you.
Love it. I love it. I love it. I love that you're speaking from a perspective of data, right?
Mhm.
Data really trumps everything when it comes to what we're creating and what we're putting out into the world. It helps us reach our audience that much more quickly. So I love that you're using it in that way. Kristy, how about you? What are your thoughts around creating more connection with your brand with the help of AI?
I love what Regina just said about data because data speaks to my heart, speaks to my soul. When you look at the analytics, like let's say that you put out a post and it was about, I don't know, a particular topic, and there was a big open rate, high open rate. And then maybe for others, it was less of an open rate. So then you can look at the pieces of content that really had those high open rates and go, oh, I wonder if that is something that really, really, really struck a chord with my audience. And how can I take that in relation to the work that I do and flesh that out even more? And how can I dissect that and go granular with that? And break that apart and look at different segments of that and then put out content that speaks to that post, but like maybe like an offshoot of that. I think it also reaffirms at the end of the day in here, deep within your spirit, not just your brain, but your spirit. This is why I'm here. This is the work that I'm doing. And it's such a beautiful reaffirmation of that. It's I had this visual of like digging down into the earth and like just going another layer down. Or another example would be like you think about barn doors and like the barn doors in your brain just start to creak open and creak open a little bit more and more sunlight comes in. And it's that continual awareness. Every time you have that awareness, the doors open just a little bit more. And and then it has you ask those questions. Okay, how can I go deeper into this? And I think that's such a beautiful journey that any of us can take.
Mm, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing your ideas and your thoughts on this topic. It's a topic that is near and dear to my heart. I love supporting people who are using AI, and I want to encourage people to do the same. More importantly, I want to encourage people to connect and stay connected with people in your world. So, thank you again for joining us for another impactful conversation. Remember to always be creating, always be connecting, and never stop converting your dreams into reality. And that's a wrap for today's episode of CreateConnectConvert.co. We hope you're feeling inspired, empowered, and ready to make your next bold move. Remember, the journey doesn't end here. Head over to CreateConnectConvert.co to download our latest resources, sign up for our upcoming events, or hop on the wait list for our exclusive mastermind community. There's a seat at the table waiting just for you. Thank you for tuning in, and be sure to click like and subscribe. We'll see you back here next week to dive into another game-changing conversation. And here's a little something to carry you until then. Keep creating, keep connecting, and never stop converting your dreams into reality.